right here on the network service of the NTA. And I'm Joseph Johnson. Glad you could join us. In continuation of the federal government's effort to achieve greater security of lives, resources and investments in all parts of Nigeria and Central Africa. The summit was to have been hosted by Equatorial Guinea last year, but was postponed because of Nigeria's general elections. In accordance with the main focus and agenda of the trip, President Buhari was accompanied by the Minister of Defense, Brigadier General Mansuruddin Ali, the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mongunu, and other security officials. He is scheduled to return to Abuja tomorrow. And back home, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says if Africa must meet its future energy need, the issue of development of a robust gas infrastructure must be jointly addressed. The Vice President, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari, said this at the 6th African Petroleum Congress and exhibition in Abuja. He said it's time to also take a firm step on gas flaring, noting that over 150 billion cubic meter of associated gas is flared annually, and Nigeria flares close to half of the quantity.
Gas is critical to sustainable economic growth. We must explore mechanisms to expand regional refining capacities in an efficient and cost-effective manner. Your Excellencies, the future of the African oil and gas industry is here already. Together, we have all the resources we need, and we can develop all the necessary capacity. There is no reason why the African oil and gas industry should remain clients attached to the apron strings of oil industries elsewhere. Those of you here today, the members of APA, have the great responsibility of delivering the dividends of this great potential.
Minister of Petroleum Resources and President African Petroleum Producers Association Ibe Kachuku believes that with technology control, the price of oil will appreciate in no distant future. As part of efforts of the federal government to diversify the Nigerian economy, government at all levels must be actively involved in the revival of the mining sector, as well as provide adequate funding. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria affirmed this while discussing the topic, developing Nigeria's solid minerals sector. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Nigeria is a country blessed with vast natural resources. Over 44 commercially viable mineral resources are said to be buried in parts of the country. However, better sensitization of state governors on the sector.
State government should be interested by the fact that they too, are getting 14% derivation. They should be interested, in increasing mining activities in their state.
On how credible investors can have access to funds set aside for the development of the sector, one of the guests has this to say.
I think the only way to gain access to funds is to make yourself first ready. You need to have a clear business plan that projects to provide some form of good returns for that funding.
They called on the need for Nigeria to create a solid mineral development bank to support solid mineral production in Nigeria. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
To the legislature now, where the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has given assurance that the National Assembly is working towards eradicating violence against women in Nigeria. He stated this at a meeting with the United Nations representative to ECOWAS and Nigeria on Women. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
Violence against women has continued in spite of series of awareness and campaigns against the social problem. The worst form of domestic violence against women is rape. Experts have submitted that the poorer a woman is, the higher the chances of suffering violence. This means that one of the visible solutions for ending violence against women is by empowering them, especially in the areas of political participation and socio-economic opportunities. That is why the visit of the UN representative for women to the Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara, was timely. The Speaker was emphatic that the National Assembly will enact enabling laws that will empower women and deter violence against them.
We believe also in affirmative action, deliberate promotion of the woman. Except we do that in the context of this country, if it's left to open competition, there's hardly anything the woman can do against the men. That is the truth in Nigeria today, because they are not empowered. But political consideration, social issues, traditional.
Also briefed him on some of the fallouts of the National Council on Health.
We are committed to implementing universal coverage in Nigeria. We are also recommending that Nigerians should be treated free of charge when they have accidents. No woman should die just simply because that woman wants to give birth. One thing is clear to us: your intervention in any health matter will produce dividends.
Don't try to kill your wife by refusing to allow her to go to hospital when she's pregnant. Embark on this advocacy, and I've said at the next meeting of the Northern Traditional Rulers Committee on Primary Health, we will put it on the agenda.
Urging political leaders to focus more on projects that have direct impact on the common man. The Sultan condemns the lack of professional harmony in the health sector.
That should not be the case, for God's sake, because when you do fight, we the common people will suffer. Leave your professional fight away from providing service to people. Provide service to people purely on humanitarian grounds.
He expressed confidence in the ability of the health minister, who was the vice chancellor of the University of Ibadan, which has the Sultan as chancellor. In Abuja, Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
Over now to the judiciary, where the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, says the growing motion of corruption in the judiciary is harsh and unfair of the nation's third arm of government. He was speaking at the opening of the National
So very crucial integrity matters, which is why the Chief Justice of Nigeria spoke about corruption in the judiciary and what the National Judicial Council is doing to tackle it. From National Judicial Institute, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Thank you, Femi. Lagos is our first port of call. Ademola is standing by in our Lagos Network Center with update on fuel scarcity and more reports. Ademola.
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. Fuel scarcity is still biting hard in Lagos, contrary to expectations that fuel will be available as from the beginning of this week. NTA News went around town and discovered that the patience of several motorists is running thin after endless queues at the filling stations.
Several fuel stations visited appear to have run out of supply as they remain under lock. For those who have the commodity, attending to surging number of motorists became a major task.
They are punishing us. No fuel, you cannot work, and we cannot buy black market, 200 naira per litre. You cannot use it to work. For taxi,
they said I should wait, so probably the fuel is on the way coming, which I don't know. But I want to wait a little, so that if there is, then I can buy.
They will run out of gas, and there's no fuel here, and you don't actually know what is the situation on ground. Life is very unbearable, and if such things continue like this, every Nigerian on the street can suffer.
However, some motorists lament the inability to purchase fuel and have resorted to seeking alternatives.
My car is here. I don't know what to do, except I go for it. I'm forced to go to the black markets now. Since we don't have the normal fuel to buy the normal price, we don't have any other option than to go for the black market. Black market is not good, but it is the only alternative right now.
Black market operators were seen lurking around fuel stations just to make quick money from motorists. The scarcity has also forced commercial tricycles operators and buses to increase their fares.
We normally carry 100 naira per head from here to a hotel or Adeolodeku. But when the fuel scarcity started, we increased to 150.
Passengers waiting to board BRT buses have also increased as a result of hike in transport fares among conventional commercial bus operators.
Motorists who waited on end to buy the product expressed their frustration.
You are changed out, they said they didn't have fuel again. But if you look at the time view, if you haulage it, you will see a lot of fuel being hoarded in these tanks. And then you see people are tired.
The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, urges the public to assist them with information that could help check the incessant fuel crisis. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
The temporary closure of the Mile 12 market by the Lagos state government as a result of the fracas that occurred in the area has led to acute shortage of perishable food items and huge losses for some traders. The petty traders now source the perishable goods at the truck stopped serving as a temporary market.
With the Mile 12 market still under lock and key, this open field by the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway has become a platform for suppliers of perishable goods. These traders are caught in the middle of the crisis and are unable to sell off their goods. Unfortunately, for some of them, their food items have already begun to perish.
We put money like 800,000 naira, but now the goods are already spoiled.
The people know they want buy them, water touch them, they don't spoil.
Before they say basket 7.5, now they say 3.5, 3,000 naira they say now.
And for the petty traders who bear the brunt of traveling all the way to buy and resell, the unfortunate incident is creating an opportunity for them to cash in on the situation.
You go reduce the quantity, the price go increase.
The leadership of the Mile 12 market say their members lose at least 800 million naira each day. Days of vandalism and poor supply of gas have resulted in a sharp decline in the capacity of Nigeria's power generation, from about 5,000 megawatts some months ago to somewhere below 2,000 megawatts today. This means that more households will remain without constant electricity supply.
And all this were not because the ability to generate is not there. It's because people were either deliberately or accidentally damaging the equipment that was required to sustain generation.
Experts say this is unacceptable, and to reversing this trend, government must adopt and implement new measures.
Avoid the situation of transporting over long distances with subsequent losses, technical losses, with subsequent thefts and mindless vandalization as we currently experience.
More worrisome for the experts is the fact that the distribution companies lack the capacity to pick up the generated power and distribute efficiently.
I can assure you that even if we have 10,000 megawatts now, people will not see how, most people will not see our power because the transformers are in the modal class. What I mean by modal class, the one that is mostly required, that is the 500 kVA, 415, 11 kV transformers. These are not available.
The Nigerian Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineers is a division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Engineer Emmanuel Olurere Akinwole takes charge of the chairmanship of the institution, with NTA's former Director General and past chairman of the institution, Dr. Vincent Maduka, gracing the event. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
And that's our package from Lagos. It's back to you, Joseph, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Ademola. Lack of collective marketing strategy and homegrown policies in fronting its oil and gas resources at the global stage are some of the factors that are compelling Africa to depend on developed countries for its survival. These, among other factors, were highlighted by key players in the oil and gas sector in Africa at the 6th African Petroleum Producers Association Conference holding in Africa. Mia Ogidi has details.
Formed in 1987 with a current membership strength of 18 countries, African Petroleum Producers Association is a platform to cooperate, share knowledge and come up with a common position in projecting the quality, quantity and pricing in the petroleum industry in Africa and presenting same at the global market. This gathering of like minds, therefore, is to review the current global trends in the petroleum industry and probably do some homework to have a say in the international market.
One of the areas that have been considered is to establish a data bank in order to at least promote our industry, promote our domestic market, create local and domestic infrastructures.
The rest of the world does things for themselves that the world needs. We need at the same time in Africa to do things for ourselves that the world needs, and that's the only way that we can make a difference.
Presently, Africa contributes about 14% of global oil production.
New bill, which has passed the first and second readings. The new bill is being brought to public domain for stakeholders and interested parties to make input in line with the requirement for such legislations. Senate President Bukola Saraki said the legislature will continue to seek divergent views of the public to propel the change agenda of the present administration.
Nigeria is undergoing change, revaluation, redefinition, reconstruction across all sectors of our lives. Our overarching objective is to reposition the Nigerian economy more effectively to the challenges of the 21st century.
Chairman Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Rafiu Adebayo Ibrahim, said the activities of the Senate are driven and propelled by public opinion.
The bill is made up of 13 parts and rendered in 269 clauses, indicating an improvement on the existing Act, which has 143 clauses.
All stakeholders in the financial and economic sectors, as well as civil society organizations, are expected to make presentations at the one-day public hearing. From the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali, NTA News.
To financial matters now, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it will continue its drive at ensuring the success of financial literacy programs in Nigeria. This was at the Financial Literacy Walk and Lecture Series organized for students in commemoration of the 2016 Global Money Week. Chiazala Mekiye reports.
In 2012, Nigeria introduced the National Financial Inclusion Strategy and promoted it as a key driver in becoming one of the world's largest economies. The aim is to decrease the number of Nigerians without access to financial services by the year 2020. The program by the CBN is therefore geared towards educating Nigerian students and youths on the importance of savings, entrepreneurship, and finances.
This provides an opportunity to equip.
Representative of the Director, Consumer Protection Department, CBN, Khadija Kazim, notes that inculcating the right education and attitude among children is an important step in nation building.
We have developed the National Financial Literacy Framework. We are also developing financial literacy curriculum for Nigerian schools. We believe that you can only get people to be
025 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Our founding fathers worked to establish certain standards of governance. Some of their successors behaved like spoiled children, breaking everything and bringing disorder to the house.
The leaders at that time, as well as those of us that followed them, were patriotic. They went into politics to serve, but not to be served.
It is people doing things wrong and not being sanctioned that led to this escalation.
What is going on now? We are beginning to lift up the quality of leadership.
We must not succumb to hopelessness and defeatism. We can fix our problems.
Live together as brothers and sisters. Though we speak different languages and celebrate different cultures, we were still one Nigeria. There was no bombing.
We're going to come to Made in Nigeria TV Expo and Exhibition in April 2016, where we shell for the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. Features include an opening ceremony, live concert, and showcasing of many Obongo quality products from our expert manufacturers in states. 5 days of TV Expo and Exhibition for Made in Nigeria products and services. For further inquiries, we're going to contact our contact platforms or visit any NTA station near you. Think international, because our products are going international.
Incidences of building collapse.
The federal government is to partner states and research institutes towards increasing the capacity of Nigerian farmers in producing enough food for local consumption and exports. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Obe, said this during this year's Wheat Farmers' Day at Alkama Farming Community of Kano State. Abdullahi Mustafa completes this report.
Statistics have shown that Nigeria spends $4.6 billion on the importation of wheat annually. This, experts say, is despite the capacity to meet its entire wheat demand and even export surplus. The gap is blamed on inadequate support from governments and high cost of production. It was in recognition of this and its resolve to diversify income of the country away from oil to agriculture and other sectors that the Buhari administration. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The Kaduna State government will soon commence laying of transmission pipes from new water treatment plant to 10 water reservoirs in Zaria and environs. Sagir Muhammad Awal reports that it is aimed at overcoming the perennial water shortage in the area.
Idris assured the ministry of their support and urged the contractors to execute the project within the time frame stipulated.
We commend the state government for doing that, but still yet, there is no end to improvement. We continue to ask for more.
The contractors handling the project reiterated their commitment in ensuring timely completion of the project. The Zaria Water Supply and Expansion Project is estimated to cost about 60 billion naira. In Zaria, I'm Sagir Muhammad Awal, NTA News.
From Kaduna, we join Ibadan Network Center, where the Nigerian Union of Journalists Council Osun State carry out protests of annulment of council election by National Secretariat. These and more stories from with Dauju as our guide. Dauju, let's hear from you.
Thank you, Joseph. Good evening. Welcome to Ibadan. The Kwara State government has embarked on the registration of mining sites to check activities of illegal miners in the state. Deinde Sani has the reports.
Barutin
reports that the elderly deserve better medical attention.
A wide range of changes can happen in the body to different degrees as one ages. These changes are not necessarily indicative of an underlying disease, but could be distressing to the individual. Though the aging process cannot be stopped, being aware of these changes and adopting a healthy lifestyle can reduce their impact on overall health.
You need to really understand them, because if you don't do, you will think they are pretending.
Those changes are different in every individual, which is why various screening and prevention are recommended for people over the age of 65. In modern-day medicine, hospitals play a key role in the care of the elderly, and experts say they make up a significant portion of patients.
When you come to tertiary, it's mainly curative. But when you go and meet them in the community, you ask them, even without them falling sick, you say, okay, what are your challenges? And you say this and this, and then you will be able to manage them.
There was a gradual increase in the geriatric age group, despite the fact that we have a low life expectancy. But I can assure you,
sure that farmers are given an opportunity to understand the climate change that is happening. So it starts with community adaptation, farmer adaptation, and then we're also looking at the nutritious values of these value chains.
President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister for Agriculture, Chief Adu Ogbe, are expected to address the conference on Tuesday. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Nigeria will partner with African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, AIMS, as part of the new drive towards designing, developing and utilizing the nation's human capacities in science to improve the quality of lives of Nigerians. Science correspondent Kirian Omayo reports that on the sidelines of the just concluded World Science Forum in Senegal, Dr. Ogbonnayonu met with Board of Directors of the Institute and signed a letter of intent for collaboration.
The African Institute for Mathematical Sciences was established to train the brightest African young scientists up to PhD level in universities across the globe to become great thinkers and problem solvers through their own scientific initiatives. Dr. Ogbonnayonu described the AIMS initiative as preparatory ground for the sciences of the future, which Nigeria must be part of.
What AIMS
is trying to achieve is to prepare our scientists and engineers for the sciences of the future. In the near future, there's going to be quantum science, and there will be also other futuristic sciences. Nigeria is being positioned to be the technological hub of Africa.
President of the Institute, Neil Turok, expressed his willingness to ensure that Nigeria joins the AIMS initiative.
We would love to help Nigeria become a Pan-African tower.
Actually appreciate the importance and the impact and the expected alleviation to the quality of life, to their income level, to generation of wealth.
About 960,000 students have benefited from the AIMS postgraduate program. Some of them were honored at the World Science event. It is hoped that the next NTA initiative for Africa will help to take the continent to the next level of technological advancement. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal
are eager to expand trade relations with Nigeria, especially in the Federal Capital Territory.
Some already are in the automobile market, not for import, but have been given the license to lay the infrastructures to start local production of vehicles that Nigerians can afford. All in all, sir, we have membership that covers everything from engineering to agriculture, and we intend to fully utilize that opportunity if given to us.
The volume of trade between Nigeria and China is put at more than $20 billion in favor of both countries. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
A report just reaching us says President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned Sunday's terrorist attack on the Grand Bassam Resort in Côte d'Ivoire. In a telephone call to President Alassane Ouattara after the attack, President Buhari conveyed the sympathy of the president, federal government and people of Nigeria to the people of Côte d'Ivoire as they mourn their compatriots and foreign visitors who lost their lives in the attack. The president assured his Ivorian counterpart of Nigeria's full solidarity and support as his country grapples with the consequences of the heinous attack and strives to overcome the new security challenges posed by the terrorist incursion. Remarking once again that terrorism now transcends all national boundaries, President Buhari restated his call for greater international cooperation against terrorists and their sponsors. In a statement by the president's spokesman, Femi Adesina, President Ouattara thanked President Buhari for Nigeria's sympathy and solidarity. And now for news on the foreign scene, Ivorians yet to come out of the shock after a terrorist attack that left at least 16 people dead. These and more on Global Tidbits with Gabriel Odu.
A terrorist attack at the small sleepy town of Grand Bassam Beach near the Ivorian capital Abidjan Sunday. Ivorians are still in shock as many have decided to stay at home. Commercial activities are yet to pick up. However, Senegalese President Macky Sall has sent his condolences to the president and the people of Côte d'Ivoire. In Uganda, the Supreme Court has opened hearing into the challenge brought before it by presidential opposition candidate third running up behind the winner President Yoweri Museveni and Kizza Besigye. Amama Mbabazi is complaining of ballot rigging. Following a bomb attack at the Turkish capital Sunday, government forces have bombarded the PKK in the southeast and Iraq. President Erdogan says security operations have been stepped up. That's Global Tidbit. Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
Let's talk sports now. Lack of sporting facilities in many schools across the Federation is said to hamper physical and mental development of students. Franca Uzoma Olua reports that Minister of State Education made a case for functional sporting facilities in schools at a sporting competition in Federal Science and Technical College. Orozo report.
Sports is seen as a veritable instrument for healthy growth, socio-cultural integration and national unity. But sports development in many schools of the
plans to revive the sport in the country. Adiola Mokivia brings us details.
The unifying grassroots football tournament brought skillful players from the 11 wards in Surulere local government area in the spirit of good sportsmanship. After 3 months of football action, wards G and G3 made it to the final. Ward G3 in the final match put 3 goals past wards G that pulled back 1 to emerge champion. The third place match saw Ward E come from a goal down to equalize against Ward G1 and went on to win 5-4 on penalties. The sponsor, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, expressed delight at the unifying effect of the tournament.
Enjoyment, it's relaxation, it's excitement. There have been a few talents, and we hope to harness those talents, put them together, and hopefully in the near future you'll be hearing of international players coming from this tournament.
The Nigerian Wushu Kung Fu Federation for 3 days had over 70 athletes from 21 states competing in the National Open Championship, which ended weekend in Lagos. The martial artists competed in 19 fight categories, which teaches self-respect, self-control, and self-discipline.
We're looking forward to the World Championship of the Wushu Kung Fu next year. So we want to have back to basics and catch them young.
2 Nigerian professional boxers, Segun Ajose and Larry Ekundayo, have made known their intentions to fully support Nigeria in getting world champions in boxing. The boxers had training sessions with some children at the Brai Ayarite Boxing Gymnasium.
Give back to the community. I could have represented England, but this is my grassroots. This is where I started from, and I can see this young kid coming up.
We don't want boxing to just die off. You know, the way it is dying off gradually now. We want to try and resurrect it. We want to be champions, and we want them to be even bigger champions.
They also presented boxing kits to some of the young boxers. With Sports News Update, Adeola Omokivi, NTA News.